Alright, before we get started, I just want to say that there's a lot of facts in here, and then there's some opinion. And I'll tell you, I'm going to give my opinion. And, yeah. And, alright, so before we get started, I'm going to give you. Okay, before we get started, I just want to let you know, here's a warning. So there's some opinion here, but the majority of it is facts. So I'm going to give you the facts, and then I'm going to tell you my opinion. And it is my opinion to where I believe the evidence leads. So, and I want to be clear about that. Like, I'm not saying that it's for sure. I'm just saying that's what it looks like. So, let's go ahead and watch this first video about the French diplomat. Let's go ahead and watch this first video about the French diplomat and what he has to say about the ties to China that Biden and his son have. So, here we go.
The outcome of the U.S. election of a new president, including the legal issues filed by Trump's team, is likely to have an impact in Europe. In France, Emmanuel Macron congratulated Biden, but some experts show concerns over what could happen if the Democratic candidate were to be elected. Jérôme Rivière is a member of the European Parliament from France who currently resides in the U.S. He says he's pained to see American media declaring Biden president without any legal ground.
United States is a great nation, was also the cradle of democracy in our civilization. I'm so pained to see what's happening with the fraud.
The Chinese Communist Party congratulated Biden today. Rivière alleges there are heavy suspicions over corruption between the Democratic Party and the CCP. He referred to a 2014 Wall Street Journal article that alleged Hunter Biden's fundraising agency, Rosemont Seneca Partners, received over $1 billion from the Bohai Industrial Group investors, whose main owner is the Bank of China.
There's absolutely no way Mr. Hunter Biden could get that amount of money out of his own experience or talents. The only reason I see is that he was the son of Joe Biden when Biden was vice president of the United States. You can only guess there's corruption behind, may it be on the sale of intelligence secret or financial interests.
Rivière said there's more to understand and investigate on the relationship between the Obama presidency and the CCP.
You know, there were private meetings at the White House between Obama, Biden, and CCP head members. And those meetings were not registered in the President of the United States agenda. This is totally contrary to the law. It is crystal clear that some things had to be concealed.
According to the French parliamentarian, whichever candidate will be elected will have a tremendous impact in the relationship between the U.S. and its European allies in regards to the Chinese Communist Party. Reporting by David Vives, NTD News.
Okay, now that that's been done, let's get into some of the meat.
In the area, the destruction of the spirit of the people of southern Louisiana and Mississippi may end up being the most tragic loss of all.
George Bush doesn't care about black people.
So, there's been a lot of talk about Hunter Biden's activity with China and other foreign countries, right? So this article is by the New York Post, 6 facts about Hunter Biden's business dealings in China. And a lot of these other articles are going to cover some of the same thing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and jump around a little bit. So on each article, I'm going to... The furor over Trump's call for Ukraine to investigate Hunter Biden's business has brought the spotlight back to the former second family's international dealings. So while his Ukraine business is currently receiving most of the attention, Hunter's dealings in China deserve at least as much scrutiny, and they do. So, trained as a lawyer at Yale, Hunter had primarily worked as a lobbyist and consultant. His previous foray into financial services. Paradigm Global Advisors was linked to Stanford Financial, a multi-billion-dollar Ponzi scheme. In 2009, Hunter co-founded a new venture, Rosemont Seneca Partners. Rosemont and Hunter were given extreme opportunities in China while his father was vice president. Here are some key facts. Number one, Biden met with Hunter's Chinese partners days before they established a new investment. In December 2013, Hunter landed in Beijing aboard Air Force Two, accompanying his father and officials visiting to China. Less than 2 weeks later, Hunter's company, Rosemont Seneca, became a partner in a new investment company backed by the state-owned Bank of China. Christening the new firm Bohai Harvest RST. The partners set out to raise $1 billion for the new fund. Representatives of Biden family denied any connection between the vice president's visit and Hunter Biden's business. However, BHR representatives told the New Yorker earlier this year that Hunter used the opportunity to introduce his father to Chinese private equity executive Jonathan Lee, who became CEO of BHR after the deal's conclusion. 2. BHR is a multi-billion-dollar enterprise. Exceeding their initial fundraiser goal, the partners at BHR raised their target to $1.5 billion for the new fund. The company's website now brags that it's managed over RMB 15 billion in assets, the equivalent of about 2.1 billion in today's dollars. See, under the terms of the deal, BHR, in which Hunter's firm held an equity stake, would be a lead investor in the fund. Other investors include China's Development Bank and China's Social Security Fund. 3. Hunter and his partner had prominent roles within the company. Despite his relative lack of private equity experience, Hunter landed a prominent role with the new company. Under the terms of the original deal, Rosemont Seneca, Hunter's firm, shared 30% stake in BHR with the Thornton Group, which was run by James Bolger, the son of longtime Massachusetts State Senator President Billy Bolger. Hunter and Bolger joined the board, along with Devon Archer, Hunter's longtime business partner. Archer would also serve as vice chairman of the fund's investment committee. The value of these partnerships to BHR is clear. Its own website boasts BHR, with its unique mixed ownership, combines the resources and platforms of China's largest financial institutions and the networks and know-how of our U.S.-based investment fund and advisory firm shareholders. Hunter Biden's claim to the New Yorker that he and his partners have not seen any money from BHR deal, but even if true, the potential payouts are significant. BHR's relationships weren't the only unique thing about the company. Rosemont Seneca was getting a piece of something that no other Western firm had: a private equity fund inside the recently established Shanghai Free Trade Zone, with a focus on international acquisitions, with the backing of the state-owned Bank of China, one of the country's big four financial institutions. BHR had access to the types of deals that most Western firms only dreamed of, including IPOs and state-owned companies. Like, that's not... You try to tell me that your dad meets with the officials and business executives, and 2 weeks later you get a deal that nobody else gets, and we're not supposed to believe that your dad had anything to do with it, him being vice president? I don't know, man.
There's an old saying in Tennessee, I know it's in Texas, probably in Tennessee, that says, fool me once, shame on you. If fool me, we can't get fooled again.
BHR invested no, 5. BHR invested in strategically sensitive assets in both China and the U.S. In December 2014, BHR became an anchor investor in the IPO of China General Nuclear Power Company, CGN, and a state-owned nuclear company involved in the development of nuclear reactors. Not only is CGN a strategically important company in China, it was also facing legal scrutiny in the United States in 2016. CGN was charged with espionage by the Justice Department for stealing U.S. nuclear secrets. As a cross-border investment fund, Bohai Harvest was interested in making deals outside of China. In 2015, BHR acquired, Henniges Automotive, a Michigan-based producer of vibration dampening equipment, alongside Chinese military contractor Aviation Industry Corp of China, AVIC. Given the military applications of Henniges technology, the deal required federal approval. Like CGN, AVIC was suspected of stealing U.S. technology for its purposes. Not long after the Henniges deal closed, AVIC debuted its J-20 jet fighter, incorporating designs allegedly stolen from the U.S. F-35 program. Number six, it wasn't an isolated incident. 2015, a state-backed real estate conglomerate acquired a controlling stake in Rosemont Realty, a sister company of Rosemont Seneca, where Hunter served as an advisor. As part of the deal, the Chinese promised $3 billion for commercial office property acquisitions in the U.S., a major windfall for the company. It wouldn't be Hunter's last episode with China. It wouldn't be Hunter's last episode with Chinese capital. In May 2017, he met with Yi Zhongming, chairman of Chinese energy company CEFC, to discuss investment opportunities in the U.S. After meeting, Yi sent a 2.8-carat diamond to Hunter along with a thank you card. When 6 months later, a CEFC executive was arrested in New York on unrelated bribery charges. His first phone call was to Hunter's uncle, James Biden. James told the New York Times that he believed the phone call, had been meant for Hunter, and that he had passed on his nephew's contract information. Yi, now accused of bribing a Communist Party official, has since been detained in his native China. That's not good. All of this adds up to extremely troubling pattern. Much of the media, as they so often do, have chosen to air the spin rather than the facts on this issue. Did the Chinese give favorable treatment to Hunter Biden to curry favor with his vice president father? The American public deserves to understand what exactly Hunter Biden was doing overseas and the extent of then vice president's involvement, which is true. And we're making more videos because some of the other, like the policies that Biden is talking about, would greatly benefit China more and disadvantage the U.S. I believe, this is my opinion, that Joe Biden has sold out America, and he's selling out. I mean, he's going to sell us out for the profit of his family. So he doesn't care. But it's crazy. This article is called New York Times confirms Hunter Biden's Bank of China deal, leaves out key details. And I'll put that down. You can read this one. It's a long one. But let's see. In an interview last year with SiriusXM's Breitbart News Tonight, Schweizer explained why Joe Biden's 2013 trip to Beijing came at a crucial moment for U.S.-China and why the former vice president's decision to go soft on China was so controversial. To put this into context, the Chinese have just exerted air rights over the South Pacific, the South China Sea. Schweizer said they basically have said, if you want to fly in this area, you have to get Chinese approval. We are claiming sovereignty over this territory. Highly controversial in Japan, in the Philippines, and in other countries. Joe Biden is supposed to be going there to confront the Chinese. Well, he gets widely criticized on that trip for going soft on China. So basically, no challenging them in Japan and other countries are quite upset about this. The Hunter Biden deal appears to be in keeping with foreign influence peddling tactics China uses to get favorable treatment from American politicians. And I'll probably include a video, but this is in league with what America does in other countries, well, for other reasons. But I'll put the video in, and then you can decide on, like, does it sound familiar? Or is it or a tactic, it's the same kind of tactic being used to reach another means, you know what I'm saying? The Chinese government has figured out that the way to get favorable treatment from policymakers in Washington, D.C., is by basically signing sweetheart deals with the children of politicians because they think by doing so, they'll get better policy positions from our government. Schweizer said, and history indicates in the Obama administration that's exactly what happened. But China is not the only foreign government to have dealings with Hunter Biden's firm. A New York Times article 3 weeks ago described Hunter Biden's lucrative dealings with Ukrainian oligarch-owned energy company at a time when his father was mediating U.S. policy towards Ukraine. According to the Times, the natural gas firm Burisma Holdings paid Hunter Biden as much as $50,000 per month in some months for his work as a board member, despite the fact that he lacked any experience in Ukraine and just months earlier had been discharged from the Navy Reserve after testing positive for cocaine.
Please call.
A Ukrainian corporation probed into Burisma Holdings was scuttled in 2016 when Vice President Biden threatened to withhold $1 billion in U.S. loan guarantees to the country if Ukraine government did not fire the prosecutor who launched the corruption investigation. Without the loans, would have been thrown the former Soviet Republic into insolvency at a time when it was fending off attacks from Vladimir Putin's Russia. The Times article today claims that Hunter Biden's partner, Christopher Hines, was concerned that Seneca Partners' involvement in Ukraine created the appearance of selling influence. So I'm going to link this article as well, and you can read it for yourself. But then, as I start to find things, I'll post more videos, and we can paint a bigger picture. Like, and really, if you want a lot of information on the Ukraine thing, you go to The Blaze. The Blaze, Glenn Beck has done a lot on this story, and they have the documentation to show everything and what's going, like the corruption and what's going on. So I suggest you go to The Blaze as well. Yeah. So I think if Biden remains president, that China's going to become #1 in the world, and that America's going to suffer financially. And I think that's partially why the shutdown's going to come. It's going to destroy our economy. Even if they pay you, even if they pay you, because and they're not just paying you, they're paying the companies, but it creates a bigger issue, and eventually there's going to be an economic collapse because of that. And all that bad money, all those bad decisions are going to have to be corrected, and the system is going to correct it. And it's going to probably be a depression. It's crazy. It's crazy. And it not only will it destroy the country financially, but it also cause food shortages, and especially logistic wise. But the food, yeah, and hunger. So tough times are coming. Prepare, prepare, prepare. And if you're already starting to see the lockdowns in the states move backwards, it's time to go back. It's time to prepare. It's time to prepare. Just know that. So, all right, this video's kind of played out for a while. So you have a good night if you've made it this far. I doubt anyone's gonna watch it this far, but shalom.